Hello, beautiful friends. Thank you for joining week 2 of Relax into Fall. This week's theme, hopefully you've had a chance to review the PDF that I sent last week, but you'll know then that this week's theme is autumn in Ayurveda. And Ayurveda is the science of that yoga comes from. It's the sort of traditional ancient Indian um, science of wellness. And in that system, the autumn season is related to the dosha called vata. Now, there are 3 doshas in the Ayurvedic system, and they correspond to personality type. So each of us is either dominant in or is a balance or a mixture of the 3 different doshas, and that determines how or is determined by our body types, how our digestion works, our sleep cycles, how we interact with each other and in the world. The dosha in question this season with fall is vata, and it is known as the sort of source dosha. It's the without it, the other 2 could not really move. It's the dosha of movement, of air and ether or space. And so when we enter into fall, which is dominated by this dosha, what we tend to experience is cold coming in. Not yet so much in the south necessarily, but in general, the cold is coming in. The air, the season is drying out, and with that air dominance is a lot of sort of movement. So our practice today is going to be around supporting the seasonal dosha and working to sort of balance out the impact that the season can have on our personal dosha balances. So the other piece of that, and a big part of what you'll hear in yoga and Ayurvedic practice often, is about the chakras. We have 7 primary chakras that run up and down essentially the spinal column and the spinal line. For vata dosha, the corresponding chakras are our throat primarily, and to some extent into like our lungs. However, the sort of opposing force to all of that sort of quick movement and frenetic cold air energy is grounding. As you may be familiar, right? When we are getting a little crazy, we talk about how I just need to ground myself. So a lot of the poses today are a balance between supporting the opening and strength of the like throat, heart, lungs, chakra areas, and then balancing that with some poses that help ground and support our lower chakras, including some twists and turns to help those organs associated with the sort of more grounded, stabilizing chakras. So with that in mind, I invite you all to bring your eyes closed if they are not already. Come to a comfortable seated position and just begin to pay attention to your breathing. No judgment, no changing, no forcing here. Just become aware of how your breath feels moving through your body, moving in through your nose, into your lungs as they expand. Your lungs contract, your lungs moving in as your diaphragm contracts and the air is forced back out, especially in this sort of mindful practice of the support and movement of vata or air through our bodies. It's really nice to begin by checking in with our breathing. And once we've checked in, we can begin to slow it down a little bit, find some stillness, maybe a little bit more relaxation. So just slow your breathing down. We're not aiming for any specific cadence, just mindfully begin taking deeper, longer breaths and thinking about matching the exhalation with the same time. So if you're breathing in for 3, you're breathing out for 3 as well. And that even cadence of breathing in and out further helps to support the balancing initiative of this evening's practice. And then, as we always do, I like to begin by just taking a moment in this stillness to set ourselves an intention. It can be for your practice this evening. It can be for something you wish to take off the mat from tonight. Beautiful friends. Now, we're going to return to the alternate nostril breathing that we did last week. As with last week, we're using it again this week to promote balance. This breathing technique in particular is good for the balance of these doshas and the balance of all of the doshas in the body. So fingers up, hang 10. We're gonna start with our thumb plugging our right nostril and inhale through our left. Plug, hold, and exhale through the other side. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale for 3. Hold. Exhale for 3. Inhale for 3. Hold. Exhale for 3. And now repeat that at your own speed. You can go 3 in. You can take your breath longer. Just remember to keep the sides even. And as you're continuing that alternate side breathing, start to pay attention to how it may be bringing already some balance to both hemispheres of your brain, both sides of your body, maybe helping to deepen your breath and bring more serenity and stillness at the beginning of our practice. And when you're ready on your next exhale, go ahead and release your hand down to your knee. We are going to do a little bit of gentle neck stretching now. So we're going to start with a slight forward. I want to impress upon you that when I tell you to place your hands behind your head, go ahead and join me in placing your hands behind your head. We are not pushing our necks forward. We are just allowing the extra weight of our hands as we tip our chins down towards our chest. Our hands are just providing ever so slightly more structure to this, a little more resistance. Breathe in, breathe out, relax your shoulders down. You should feel a gentle release along the back of your neck. Keep breathing. Keep your shoulders down. And on your next inhale, go ahead and release your hands down to your sides. Bring your neck back up to float tall over your shoulders. And now we're going to do a side stretch, a neck stretch to each side. So go ahead and inhale your arms up. And as you exhale, you'll bring your right hand to the top of your head and your left hand down towards the ground. gently tipping your head towards the right. Again, your hand on your head is not pulling or pushing. It's just a little bit of extra weight, a little bit of extra support to create some gentle resistance. Drop our shoulders down so that our necks can really appreciate this stretch as much as possible. If you have the space and you want to get a little more stretch, you can walk your fingertips a little further out to the side. And that'll just create a little more resistance tension along the side of your neck. And most importantly, keep breathing. And on your next inhale, go ahead and release your right hand down, bring your neck back to center. And we're going to do the other side. So inhale your arms up. And exhale, your left hand comes to the side of your head and your right arm floats down. Remember, no pulling, no pushing. Drop your shoulders down away from your ears to really encourage that neck stretch. Feel how with each inhalation, the stretch intensifies slightly. If you have the space, you can walk your fingers out a little further to encourage more stretch. And on your next inhale, go ahead and release your left hand down. Your head comes back to center. Beautiful. We are now going to do some cat and cows. We're going to go back and forth through the two poses for about 3 minutes to really give our spines a chance to warm up. And again, as I mentioned, the main chakras run along this sort of center line. So cat and cow alternating is a really nice way to sort of loosen the spine and the muscles around it, but also to encourage the even flow of energy up and down our spines and through all of the chakras. So come to hands and knees. And you want to make sure that your hips is the angle, I promise, is the problem, but your hips are right over your knees. Your hands are under your shoulders. Go ahead and spread your fingers out really wide. Make sure that every part of your hand has contact with the ground. Curl your toes under. And then from this neutral spine position, we're going to inhale and drop our bellies down towards the ground, shining our hearts forward. And on an exhale, we're going to curl our backs up and round towards the sky like the scaredy cat on a Halloween decoration. And then inhale, drop your bellies down, hips come up, shoulders spread wide to show your heart forward. Exhale, round up. Inhale, shine forward. Exhale, round up. Now go ahead and continue this motion in your own time. You can make it a little faster if you want, or you can really stretch each motion out. Just make sure that you are keeping your breath in line with the movement. We're about halfway through. If this is causing any discomfort in your knees, please go ahead and put a blanket or towel under them. If this is causing discomfort in your wrists, feel free to stop for a second, give them a roll, and join back again when you're ready. As we enter the last few rounds of breath in this movement, I encourage you, if you feel called, to go a little free form, maybe take some side bends, maybe give it a little bit of a wiggle and roll, whatever feels good to give your spine a little bit of freedom after a long day. And then meet me back in neutral spine. We're going to go into thread the needle. I'm going to demonstrate towards the front so that you can kind of see what my arms are doing first. And then we'll do on our right side and then our left side. So from that same neutral tabletop that we were in, you're going to inhale your right arm up towards the sky. And as you exhale, you're going to bring it through and bring your head down to the mat, resting your right shoulder on the mat. So into tabletop we go. And when you're ready, inhale your right arm up towards the sky. You feel that nice twist in your torso. Exhale and scoop it through the space behind your left hand. Bring your shoulder, right shoulder and ear down to the mat. And we're going to hold here. Remember, in yin yoga, we find a pose, a hold. We come to our edge, which is that place where it's maybe just a little difficult, but not painful. And then we dance along that edge in stillness with our breath. Maybe as we are here, a little more space opens up to us. We can take advantage of that. You can move your left hand a little further out to give yourself a little bit more leverage to deepen the twist if you feel called. Otherwise, if you stay a little more folded in, you're deepening the stretch along the outside of your right shoulder. And we just keep breathing. You may feel some loosening in your lower spine. And on your next inhale, go ahead and bring yourself back up to tabletop. Get yourself back into that nice neutral tabletop where all of your weight is resting evenly between your two knees and your two hands. And then on our next inhale, we'll go ahead and lift our left arm up to the sky, really enjoying that twist. And exhale, scoop your arm under your ear, come down to the mat. And we breathe. If you want a little deeper of a twist, again, you can bring your right hand a little further out from the edge of the mat. Give yourself a little bit more of a twist. Keep your shoulders dropped away from your ears. And I know this sounds counterintuitive, but try to imagine your hips are actually going in the opposite direction from your shoulders, which will actually help you straighten out. There's a tendency to sort of curve hip and shoulder in toward each other in this. But to really enjoy the full stretch, you want to make sure you're keeping your hips nice and center over your knees. And we breathe. You moved your hand further out, go on, move your right hand further in, and inhale yourself back up to a nice neutral table. From here, we're going to come down onto our bellies. Our legs are straight out behind us. Ooh, I don't know if y'all can hear those pops and cracks, but welcome to the right table. And that is because we are really actively straightening our legs, pushing the tops of our feet down into the ground, letting our hips, our pelvis really sink into the ground, that chakra area, the root chakra and sacral chakra, really meet the earth and be grounded in them. And then go ahead and inhale your torso up, pushing your arms away. You want to walk your hands maybe a little further out from you. You can, good, you can see me, I'm fully in the screen. So got a nice back bend in. This does not have to be our deepest. We're not trying to, the closer your hands go in, the deeper the back bend. If you do not feel called to go this deep, this is just fine. Today, we're gonna hold this for a little while. So slightly lessened back bend with your hands a little further away is probably just the trick. While you're here, really think about shrugging your shoulders down, away from your ears. Your head should be relaxed, your neck relaxed. And you just keep breathing. Notice the sensation of your diaphragm expanding into the ground below you, the tension of the low back bend, and the opening across your chest, and how all of those things impact the way the breath feels in its movement through your body. So this pose is doing two things for us. It's giving us a really great anchor and grounding in our lower chakras pressed into the ground. And then it's giving us a really nice heart opening, throat opening stretch across our front. You got 1 more minute left here at this point. If your neck is getting tired, you are welcome to let it drop. It will create a different type of tension, a different stretch, but that might be just the release of muscles that you need right now. I know your arms are probably getting a little tired, I promise you. Just keep breathing and we'll get through it. Just a few rounds left. On your next exhale, go ahead and lower yourself down to the mat. Bring your hands on top of each other and just take a second. Rest your forehead on your hands. Just a little counter to that back bend. Beautiful. Come back up to our tabletop position. And here is where, if you have blocks, you may want to go ahead and set them up at the front of your mat, like I am. It's not necessary, but if you have them, they may help. What we're gonna do now is come into a low lunge. We're gonna do this on each side. So from the tabletop, come back to a kneeling position, and we're gonna bring our right leg forward a pretty good distance, and then lean into it. Our back leg, the toes are the top of the foot and the toes are flat. I'm going to go ahead and put a blanket under my knees. I welcome you to do the same if they're a little sensitive tonight. And once you've found your proper setup, comfortable, but gives you just a little bit of tension, then hold right there and come back to your breath. So if you don't have blocks, your hands are going to be on the mat. If you have the flexibility, that should be extra comfortable. Feel free to come to your fingertips if that's a challenge, or get some cushions under there. If you have blocks, you can use them to hold your torso up and get a little bit more of the slight back bend, chest opening. You can also support yourself without the blocks with just your hands down by your sides. I like to make sure you have all the options for your yin practice. Breathe into the stickiness, into the places where maybe the holding this pose is getting a little challenging. You may be really feeling some stretching in your groin area, down the front of your back or left leg, perhaps along the outside of your right leg. Really try and imagine as if your weight center could be right in between, is right in between your two legs, and you're sharing the force of holding yourself up between the front and the back. Everything is engaged. And just keep breathing.
Drawing from this, so that way you can see. Talking
It's
about
outside noises.
yes, is meeting one.
Why didn't you break?
Yes.
Just a couple more rounds of breath here.
This leg needs to be back.
On your next inhale, go ahead and push back from your right leg. I'll move the block so you can see. We're going to just give it a little bit of a stretch. So peel your right toes back and flex that foot. And lean back as far as you can and get that nice counter stretch along the bottom side of your right leg.
Don't do that.
And then go ahead and inhale that back under you, coming back to a neutral tabletop. We're going to go ahead and do it on the other side. So bring your left foot a good way forward, get yourself situated, and exhale down into the lunge.
Wish I had some, like,
Your options again are hands flat on the floor, on fingertips, on blocks or some other kind of cushion,
Just don't use it. No.
or just holding yourself up in this pose.
Those are blocks, not
The further up your torso comes, the more you get a nice little back bend and the opening across your shoulders as well.
Yes, it does. Exactly. This is why I would rather do the replay with you. This is not relaxing for me.
Just keep breathing, my beautiful friends. Just keep breathing. Almost there. Okay, friends, on your next exhale, go ahead and push yourself back. Peel those left toes up off the mat into a nice flexed foot. And lean into this little, it's called a runner's stretch. If you have ever tried running, you'll understand why. It should give you a nice counter stretch along the edge, bottom of your left leg. Go ahead and inhale that back under. If you had a blanket, go ahead and take that out from under your toe, under your knees. And we are actually going to come up into a standing pose, but we're going to do it through downward facing dog. So from your tabletop, Plant your hands. Curl your toes under, lift your knees up, send your hips back and up into a down dog. Don't worry, friends, we won't be here very long. Just give it a little bit of a wiggle, maybe pedal it out a little bit. And go ahead and walk your feet up to the top of your mat. I'm going to come face you for a minute. If you have a strap or a scarf or something, go ahead and get that handy. We're going to bring our feet hip distance, maybe a little wider if that's still uncomfortable, maybe closer in the classic pose, but not always as accessible to us. So somewhere right around hip distance is usually good. We're going to come all the way up to stand. I apologize, the camera angle doesn't show all of me. I'll be back down with you in a moment. From here, we're going to inhale our arms up overhead and exhale ourselves down forward into a fold. Go ahead, make sure your knees are not locking back, but they have a little bit of a bend or as much bend as maybe you need in order to get comfortable. We are going to be here for a few minutes, so it's really important to make sure your knees are not locked. And just breathe. You can place your hands down on the ground. If that's not accessible and you have a blocker cushions, you can let that prop you up. You put your hands on your shins for more support. Or, and this does make the forward bend a little more challenging, but it gives you a really nice release in your back. You can bring your arms crossed together and hold each elbow and really let your head dangle. And keep breathing, keeping an eye on the time for us. Really let your head be heavy, your neck relaxed. As with so many of the other poses, this is doing two things for us. Our feet are firmly planted and our energy is pulling up from the ground and pushing back down, really grounding us. At the same time, we're really letting gravity take over the burden that we carry around that is our heads every day. They're so heavy. Just giving our neck a little bit of a rest here. Go ahead and when your next inhale yourself up halfway. Grab your strap. Actually, you may want to stand up all the way for this. You're gonna grab your strap and you're gonna bring it behind you and give yourself some latitude right here. You can always walk your hands in if you have the space when we get into the pose, but maybe hold them about this far apart. And we're gonna come back down again. We're gonna inhale. Obviously our hands don't come up, but we're gonna inhale and then exhale ourselves back down into that forward fold. Remembering to keep a little bit of a bend or a fuller bend in our knees, whatever makes it comfortable, but don't lock them. And then with your strap in your hands, you're just going to kind of lift your arms away from your back. And that's going to create some really interesting stretches across your shoulders, front and back. Really think about rolling your shoulders down and away, and then bringing whatever space you can back with that strap with your hands up towards the sky. Just going to do a couple rounds of breath here. Okay, go ahead and release your hands down, release the strap, and inhale yourself up. From here, we're going to come into a squat. I I like to have a blanket or towel kind of rolled up to place under my heels. So go ahead and take a minute and grab that if you have it right handy. And we're going to come down into a squat. So stand in front of the edge of your towel or blanket and step your heels onto it. Bring them wide and your toes turn out a little bit. From here, we're going to inhale and exhale ourselves down into the squat. Now, if this is super easy for you and your heels come all the way down to the ground, awesome. You don't need this towel or block or blanket. Maybe you can get a little closer. So get yourself adjusted. And then you can either keep your hands down for balance, or you can bring your hands to prayer in front of your heart and use your elbows to encourage a little bit more of turning out of your knees. And this should feel like a lovely release across your low back and hips. We're getting a nice grounding, opening of some hip area. And also, if you are in the upright version, a little bit, again, of a chest opening as well. Really try to relax your calf muscles. It's very easy to tense and clench them while you're trying to hold yourself in this posture. That's where the blanket can come in really handy because it lessens the space between your foot and the ground, and so your muscles don't have to clench so hard. They can sort of rest and relax into that extra cushioning. If this is getting too uncomfortable, if any of your joints are not cooperating, you're welcome to take a very similar pose in child's pose. So you would come down onto your knees and fold yourself forward, and it'll give you a really similar low back release and compression of these internal organs. And now we find our stillness. Friends, on your next inhale, go ahead and bring your hands back down to the ground for support. And slowly straighten yourself back up. You can get that blanket or towel out of the way. And we're actually going to come down to lie on our backs. Bring your feet out to the edge of your mat. Get yourself comfortable and situated. And now we're gonna take a deep inhale and exhale. Let your knees fall in toward each other. This pose is called reclining teepee. That's not its Sanskrit name, of course, but so our knees are kind of knocked together in a sort of counter pose to the squat we were just in. Let your hips be heavy. Keep your feet flat on the mat. And let your torso just be relaxed. Your shoulders are down, away from your ears. Your hands can be resting on your belly to feel that breath. They can be down on the mat by your sides. Just keep breathing. Just a few more rounds of breath here. All right, friends, go ahead and exhale. Release the tension holding your knees together. Bring your feet back into a little bit more of a hip distance position. And we're going to take a quick windshield wiper to just reset a little bit. So go ahead and let your knees fold to one side and then the other, as if your legs were the windshield wipers on your car. All right. We're going to stay here on our backs and we're going to come into a reclining twist. So go ahead and kind of lift your hips up and bump them a little to your left. And bring your knees in and let them fall over to the right. If they don't comfortably meet the ground, this is a great place for that blanket or towel or even a block. Go ahead and place your right hand on your top knee. Bring your left hand up to the sky, right in front of your face, and then let it fall open as far as it can. The goal is to get your left shoulder and hand to the ground behind you. But if it's not there, that's totally okay. Again, if you have multiple props, maybe your hand or shoulder rests on something if the ground is not accessible. From here, you're welcome to keep your head neutral in the middle, or you can deepen the stretch slightly by turning your head towards your left hand. And that just further intensifies that twist. Your right hand is keeping yourself anchored on that side, your knees down. And if you're facing your hand, that's helping to bring your shoulder to the ground and deepen the full twist all the way up your spine through your neck. Enjoy the breath, the sensation of how it feels different in the twist. Maybe new spaces in between your rib cage or opening on your side, while at the same time other spaces on your right side are being compressed by the rotation. Keep your shoulders dropped away from your ears. And if anything feels like if anything feels like it hurts, please back out. But if anything's just feeling like, oh, this is fine, it's just tough, if it's hard, just come to the breath. If your mind wanders, come to the breath. On your next inhale, go ahead and straighten your neck if you had it looking towards your back hand. And inhale your knees back into your chest. Drop your feet. Go ahead and lift and bump your hips to the right this time. And bring your knees in. Drop them over to the left. Take a minute if you had props and you need to readjust. Get something under your knees. Put something under your hand or shoulder. Bring that right arm up and let it fall gently out open to the side. And then again, if you wish, you can bring your head to face your right hand this time. Further deepening the twist. Your left hand is helping to keep your knee in place. Your right hand is open to the side, encouraging a really nice stretch along your arm, through your fingertips. And when you've found that edge, find your breath and just be. Couple more rounds of breath. On your next inhale, go ahead and bring your head back to neutral. Inhale your knees up. Let your feet come to the mat to just get your spine straight again. And then go ahead and bring your knees into your chest. Give yourself a little bit of a hug. Feel the back, release some from that stretch, from those twists. From here, we're gonna do one more pose. We won't hold it too long, I promise, but it's another nice full body upper and lower. So come join me on your right side, resting on your elbow, like we were just, chilling. Maybe having a picnic in the park. We're just chilling. From here, you're gonna take your left hand and grab your right foot and let that come behind you. You're gonna bring your left foot in front, and now we're gonna lower ourselves down. You can rest your head on your arm like this, or if you would like, you can take a more of a twist as we were before and try and get your shoulders flat on the ground. Your left hand is holding your right foot behind you, and your left knee is in front of you. Just getting a different kind of twist, a little bit of opening along the front of our right hip. Just a few breaths here. Go ahead and exhale, release your foot from your hand. Bring yourself into alignment. Come back onto your back. And I'm going to flip, but you go on ahead and just roll over to the other side. And we're going to do the same thing. So we're hanging out, propped up on our elbow. Yep. Hey, how you doing? Go ahead and grab your right hand, left foot. Bring that behind you some. Go ahead and bring your right foot out in front of you. Let that knee relax. And from here, you can rest your head on your arm, or you can bring it into a deeper twist, positioning yourself a little bit and roll backwards. With the aim of getting both shoulders flat on the ground. Keeping that left foot, right hand bind going. And breathe. Maybe you're feeling a nice, or maybe not so nice, opening across the front of your right hip, down the front of your right leg. Maybe your left leg. Maybe your right leg is feeling this too. Just a few more breaths. Go ahead and release your foot from your hand. And I'm going to sit up, but I would like you to stay in a nice, comfortable laying position. go ahead and take yourself into your Shavasana. Let your legs be a little wider, feet fall open. Arms come a little bit out from our sides, palms facing up. And I'm going to take us through a little bit of a guided meditation slash guided Shavasana, in which we're going to just do a little bit of sort of imaginative, energetic chakra balancing. So bring your eyes closed and come to your breath. As you find the stillness, imagine a beam of white light that is shining from the heavens straight down, or in this case, sideways into the top of your head. Imagine that white light hitting your crown chakra, the top of your head. Let that white light turn purple and vibrant and shining as it energizes the crown chakra. Keep breathing. Visualizing that vibrant purple light at the crown chakra. Come back to that white light and imagine it flowing down and stopping between your eyebrows and lighting up a deep, vibrant indigo, shining into your brow chakra, the seat of our intuition and wisdom. Breathe in that vibrant violet indigo light. Release that vibrant light and come back to the white light. And imagine that flowing down past your nose, your lips, your chin, and to the throat chakra, where it turns a beautiful, vibrant blue, shining bright, unblocked. This is our throat chakra. This is the home of our voice, of our speech, of our ability to communicate. Let that light shine so brightly. Breathe it in. As you exhale, let the blue light go and return to white. And trace that white light down to your heart center, to your heart chakra, where it lights up a glowing, beautiful green. This is the seat of our love, our compassion, our ability to connect. It's also the middle chakra of the seven, the chakra, the point at which the heavens and the earth, our external and our internal worlds meet and interact. Breathe in that beautiful green light. And as you exhale, release the green light back to white and let that white light flow down past the bottom of your ribs, right above your belly button, where it lights up a beautiful, glowing, vibrant yellow. This is our solar plexus chakra. This is where our self-esteem, our willpower, and our personal identity reside. Let them shine brightly with that yellow light. Breathe it in. Exhale the yellow light, turning back to white, and we trace it down to just below our navel, our sacral chakra, where it glows a brilliant, deep orange. Breathe in that orange light. This sacral chakra is the home of our creativity, where we literally, as a species, are sourced from our reproductive organs. Breathe in that orange light, let it shine so brightly. Exhale the orange light, returning back to that white, vibrant, beautiful white light, and trace it down to the very end, base of our spine, to our root chakra, where it lights up a gorgeous, vibrant, beautiful red. Breathe in that red energy. This root chakra is our connection to the earth. It is our foundation, where our sense of security is found. Breathe in. Let the red light glow. Exhale the red light, returning to white. And imagine that white light flowing out from the edge of your spinal column, from that root chakra, and down into the earth. You are now connected, as you were always connected, to the sky above and the ground below. Breathe in and feel that white light come back up through your root, sacral, solar plexus, heart, throat, crown, brow, and crown chakras. Let the white light fill your entire field of vision. Let it wrap you in comfort and peace, stillness. Let it fill your breath. Breathe in white light. Exhale. Breathe in white light and exhale. Stay with your breath and relax. Slowly begin to bring your awareness back to your physical surroundings. Maybe bring some movement back, wiggle your fingers and toes. Go ahead and slowly find your way to one side and then up into a comfortable seated position. We are at the end of our time together for the evening. I want to thank you for joining me, but most importantly, for showing up for yourself. The light in me sees, honors, and acknowledges the light in you. Namaste. Thank you. Have a beautiful rest of your evening. And don't forget your home play exercises. There are some good ones for supporting the work of balancing the Vata dosha and the throat and root chakras. So enjoy.